I saw a video with a clip of Alex Jones, which is going to be the subject of my next video, or a video in the near future, but before I make that video, I wanted to address something which I often hear from conspiracy theorists, being a debunker. And that's that I don't want to believe that September 11th was an inside job, because I just can't accept that the government would do something like that. And this, of course, reminds me of Christians who tell me that the reason that I don't believe in God is because I want to live in sin. Now, so for the conspiracy theorists who might believe this about me, first I want to say that there is a grain of truth to this, in the sense that from what I can gather about the way the government works and the sorts of people who are in government and just my understanding of government in general, I do see it as being more of a bumbling bureaucracy rather than this big, giant, sinister conspiracy. But that misses the point. My point is not that I can prove that the government didn't do it, in the same sense that I'm not going to sit here and try and prove that God doesn't exist. My point is that there is not sufficient evidence to believe that the government did it, because all of these, alleged evidence can be debunked. It runs very closely parallel to my position on God. It's not that I claim that there is no God in any explicit sense. It's that the evidence and the reasons and the arguments for God, I think, can be sufficiently debunked, and so there is not sufficient evidence to believe in it. It's just that simple. And so let me phrase it this way for people. If the government committed September 11th, they used planes. The reason it would seem that a lot of these people want to hold on to these debunked ideas about Building 7 and bombs in the buildings and thermite and missiles hitting the Pentagon and there being no plane in Shanksville is that they know that it's still possible that even if there were only planes involved, that the government did it. I mean, it's possible, albeit difficult, to rig up a plane to fly remotely. And so the government could have rigged up these planes and then remotely flew them into the buildings. The problem is that they know they have no evidence for that, other than these vague, ambiguous, like, oh, there was a stand-down order, or why was this the case, and what about, this, 40-year-old document that had similar plans. Those are all, the sort of evidence, once you debunk the bombs in the buildings and the Building 7, is at best very circumstantial and ambiguous. And so they know that without these smoking guns, that they have no real case against the government for it being an inside job. And so it seems to me that seems to be a lot of the motivation behind putting forth these things about bombs in the buildings and all of that. The government could have done September 11th. It's just my position that there is insufficient evidence to show that there was. It's not that I'm in principle incapable of believing that they're guilty of something so sinister. I just don't see the evidence for it. So spare me your dismissal tactics of how I just can't handle the truth. All right. So yeah.